Hi guys, this is Teacher Tech at welcome sa ating shop. We'll be starting our series on computer hardware assembly. And this lesson would be split into 3 videos. The first video, which is yung video na pinanonood nyo ngayon, would tackle yung iba't ibang mga hardware or components na ginagamit para makabuo ng isang computer at yung mga related issues or concerns na dapat nating tandaan sa pagpili ng mga components na ito. Second topic natin is about hardware testing. So, titest muna natin yung ating computer bago natin siya ilagay sa ating case. And finally, for the third video, i-assemble na natin yung ating mga components sa isang case para makabuo na tayo ng isang fully functioning na computer. So, let's start!
There are different parts that we need para mag-build ng ating computer. Now, tandaan natin na although may standard set of parts na makikita sa bawat computer, every component or part itself ay maaari mag-iba-iba depende sa model or sa brand. This would mean na kinakailangan natin i-check if the parts that we have ay compatible with each other. Besides that, let's look at the different parts we'll be using and keep in mind the things to consider when selecting each component, as well as the tools we will be using in assembling our computer. Now, for the essential tools, kailangan natin ng standard size na Phillips head screwdriver. Kung meron kayong mas mahaba ang stem, as well as a magnetic tip, makakatulong ito sa assembly natin. Kailangan din natin ng thermal grease or compound. I-apply natin to sa pagitan ng integrated heat spreader or IHS ng ating CPU at ng ating CPU cooler. Ito ay para maging mas efficient ang pag-transfer ng heat palabas ng processor. Essential ito, so huwag nyo itong kakalimutan. Also, kasama din dito yung alcohol at syempre yung tissue para malinisan natin yung IHS bago natin i-apply yung thermal compound. Next component natin is the motherboard. Now, every motherboard, tulad ng ibang mga parts, is different between each manufacturer and brand, as well as sa CPU and RAM na supported nito. Iba-iba rin kasi yung sizes madalas, depende sa magiging purpose ng computer. As with the motherboard, iba-iba rin ang types ng processor o ng ating CPU. May dalawa tayong prominent na brands, Intel and AMD. And as a general rule, para mapadali ang pag-identify ng CPU, Intel uses the LGA CPU package, yun yung may metal contact sa CPU, while AMD uses the PGA CPU package kung saan ang nasa ilalim ng processor is pin. Katambal ng processor is the CPU cooler. Wala tayong standards para sa mounting since every manufacturer ng cooler usually has their own solution. What you're seeing right now are the stock coolers na kasama kapag bumili kayo ng Intel or AMD processor. You will also need RAM or random access memory. Ito ang pinaka-primary memory ng iyong computer, and for today's standard, you need at least 8 GB para hindi mahirapan ang computer mo sa pag-run ng mga applications at mga tasks. Check your motherboard manual kung anong klase ng memory at gaano karami ang kaya nitong isupport. For our secondary storage, we will be using a SATA hard disk drive. There are also other kinds of hard disk drives such as IDE, pero hindi na sila ganun ka-commonly used ngayon. So we will stick with using HDDs for today. We also need SATA cables para maikabit natin ang ating hard disk drive sa ating computer. Optionally, kung available, maglalagay din tayo ng DVD drive sa ating computer, pero hindi na siya ganun ka-mandatory these days dahil sa mga flash storage devices tulad na lamang ng mga USB flash drives. Also, if you're planning to play games with your computer or nagbabalak kayo mag-edit ng mga videos at iba pang mga graphic extensive na tasks, you need a dedicated graphics card or GPU. Pero, if gagamitin mo lang yung computer mo para sa office work halimbawa, or consuming media, o kaya naman pagbabrowse lang ng internet, you can make do with the integrated graphics ng CPU mo if meron ito. And to power all our components, kailangan natin ng PSU or power supply unit. Pumili kayo ng medyo mas mataas na wattage kaysa kailangan nyo para sa kung sakasakali na magdadagdag kayo ng iba pang components in the future. And also, select trusted and tested na mga brand. And finally, to put it all together, we need a computer case. This is a generic model, pero like all other computer components, may iba-iba ring klase ng computer case. Make sure na compatible ang case mo with the size of the motherboard na meron ka. And if kaya nitong i-accommodate ang lahat ng mga peripherals na gusto mong idagdag sa computer mo. Before we assemble our computer, it's a good thing to have on hand a system speaker if walang built-in speaker ang motherboard mo. And to top it all off, we also need a monitor para sa pag-set ng BIOS settings and ng keyboard para makapag-boot into BIOS at makapag-change ng mga settings. So let's move on to connecting and testing our computer parts.